Yes, that's right.
Okay. Now, are you aware there's a public slave protection order in place here?
Yes, I don't know if you know, but I have actually been arrested twice. I've gone to court and been acquitted for allegedly my silent prayers. I've actually received an email from the police telling me I'm allowed to be in this area. And I don't know if you're familiar with that situation at all.
Is it Breeding area?
Yes, that's right. That's why I was arrested previously. So yes, I'm very much aware there's a PSPO in place.
Okay. Are you aware that you're breaching the public order?
Listen, read it easy. Breathing like the sequence.
I'm not breaching it, no.
Will you move from here to outside?
She ends up getting arrested.
You wouldn't know about this if it wasn't for someone like Elon Musk by an X, because the level of censorship and control that they took back through social media, through big tech. So when I'm on about free speech, no, we don't have free speech, but we need to reach the public with what's happening.
Is YouTube open in UK?
YouTube just opened my account last week.
No, YouTube period. So people on YouTube see these videos. In UK, see these videos on YouTube.
So
meaning YouTube is accessible in UK.
yeah, YouTube's accessible, but I was banned up until last week.
I'm aware of that, right? So meaning the people can see these things and sit there and decipher between the BS and say, what do you mean BBC? What do you, this is not true. Is that causing ruckus for people to want to rise up and do something about it?
That's causing I say we're on the border of a revolution. I've been saying that. We held demonstrations just before we went to jail in that 12-month period. We went from 30,000 to 100,000 to 150,000 people. These numbers are unheard of in our capital city. We're now planning one on the 13th of September, a free speech event. I think we'll have in excess of 500,000 people turning up.
So
the public are awake now.
So you're talking about that. And then we see when October 7th happens and there's a video, I believe, I don't know when this video was, Rob, with Mohammed Hijab and quite a few of his crew out there in the streets.
Hunting down Jews.
Yeah, so this
They don't get arrested. They don't get arrested.
So, but why? Can you play this clip, Rob? This is where?
This in London. Look at us.
It was terrifying. The boys had to be rescued by the police as bottles and eggs rained down on them.
The thing is, they just don't get arrested.
Why though?
Because of the two-tier policing, so people understand.
Hijab that the police officer that he'd killed
the law's not enforcing it.
Saw it again.
You saw this.
However, when
I want to show this. So keep playing.
when those Zionists came in with their dogs, that was an act of provocation. So what we're saying now, and I'm making it very clear so everyone understands, if those dogs come close to us again, we will see it as an act of aggression, and we will kill those dogs. Right? We'll put them down.
Hijab and Dawa then led the crowd to Speaker's Corner, and as the mob marched through London streets, screaming, "We'll find some Jews. We want their blood," the police did nothing. Let that sink in. They're calling for our literal blood, and the police are just...
He's an activist within the Jewish community. Does good work.
Lord, the Zionists, no on the blood. This is the night anti-Jewish edition.
A couple of hours later, we were violently
It's not a
assaulted.
threat in London. You can do this and you're not getting arrested. That's not.
No, they can do this and not get arrested. If someone else makes a comment against transgenderism, if someone else makes a comment against Islam, they'll probably get their door kicked off by the SWAT team. They're protected. The Islamic community are protected and can act this way. Do you know there's a case? So Muslims drove down from the north of England into the Jewish area. They drove through in their cars with speakers and megaphones talking about raping the Jewish daughters. Yeah, they got arrested because there was such a furor. They didn't get prosecuted. They did not get prosecuted. Now, do you know how many people are being arrested? We hear so much from our politicians about free speech or lying about free speech. The amount of arrests in the UK compared to Russia, China, any of these countries for social media, the UK is the highest out of all of them. You could combine all these countries together and it's the UK. So we keep the UK government pretend about free speech whilst absolutely attacking anyone who goes against their narrative and their agenda. The Islamic community, when you look at the local, there was a Gaza, you know, we now have 5 MPs who got voted in on the Gaza issue. Basically 5 jihadist MPs now are in parliament, yeah? When the Labour Party, who have pandered, bowed and surrendered to the Islamic community for their block vote, over the Israel situation since October 7th, many Muslims started stepping away from them. And it showed how many seats they lost or how close the votes become, which is why then when you look at the Labour Party, now on the Islamic rape gang scandal, if they give this national inquiry, they'd lose the Muslim vote. They'd lose the Muslim vote to the independents who are rising anyway, and they'd lose power. Jess Phillips, the one that Elon Musk was hammering, I think she only won her seat by 700 votes. Now, when she won her seat by 700 votes, she only wins her seats by getting on her knees, bending and surrendering to the Islamic community, because that's how big the Islamic community is in that community. Now, if this is happening now, they say 5, 6, 7% of the UK population is Islamic. What does anyone think it's going to be like when it gets to 20%, 25%? And you even hear figures like Nigel Farage saying by 2050, there's going to be this many Muslims. So we now have to start preparing and working along with Islam. It's like, no, we need to stop that. We need to stop.
How do you stop it though?
Well, they did stop it by trying to address the benefit system. So, for example, my local MP, my local imam has 14 children with 3 wives. That's 3 council houses.
Who's this?
My local imam.
What's his name?
Kadir Bashk. He was the leader of Luton Islamic Centre. When I started my activism, Luton Islamic Centre was a radical jihadist centre. He was given a seat in the council with a Luton in Harmony programme. I used to try and expose. I translated everything off of his website.
How do you spell his name?
Kadir, Q-A-D. Put Luton Islamic Centre. Kadir.
Luton Islamic Center.
Yeah. Guess what this used to be? And then Kadir was the imam. Put imam. That used to be the old synagogue in Luton. Imam. Yeah, now go down. You'll get the news clip. So basically, when I first started my activism, I said this guy's an extremist, and I tried tackling him. But he was given a seat at the. They created a Luton in Harmony program, and this imam was part of the Luton in Harmony program. He was on local radio. This is the problem. The journalists don't travel.
I'd like to know who he is. I'd like to actually pull him up. Rob, can you find him or no?
Yeah, so how to spell Basque? B-A. You got to have it, Mike. Q-U.
Go. Spirit backs.
Here it is. That's him. This is
So he is got 3 wives, 14 kids.
3 wives, 4
Him right there?
No.
No, that's not him. No.
Yeah, right here.
Is this him?
Now there'll be loads of news on him when you get a spelling it. That's him there. That's him. So you see him, yeah? Silver-tongued, Luton Islamic Centre,